Hi, this video contains everything that you should know about productivity and productive lifestyle. And I assure you that this is the last video you will ever need to watch about productivity. So, I was the biggest procrastinator and the most unproductive person on the planet. Then I started researching about productivity, psychology, and all the related topics, and I changed my life. So, I'll be sharing all that in this video. So, let's start with the very basics. What is productivity? The definition of productivity, because unless we are clear with the definition, we cannot tackle this problem of procrastination and not being productive. So people make this mistake of thinking of productivity as a very linear concept, as a very simple concept, but it is not. Like success, people can have different definitions of productivity. Like for some people productivity is like just doing their routine work on time. For some people productivity is doing their routine work on time and then having some time for well-being, personal development and health. For some people productivity is finishing work on time, they're having time for personal development and spending their family for fun and also helping others. So you can have 100 different people and you can have 100 different definitions of productivity, but people do not realize that and think that productivity is just use of time correctly. It is correct, but it is not that simple. So first, if you want to be productive, if you want to use your time wisely, then first you have to realize why you have to be productive. What is the purpose of being productive? What are the goals that you will accomplish by being productive? Because unless you are not clear with your why, even if you start, then you will not be able to continue this journey. And eventually, if you are not clear with your goals and you just want to start a productive lifestyle, you can just start. But ultimately, you will have to figure it out. If I give you my example, now I do not need an alarm clock. Every morning, I wake up excited that today I'll do something to that will take me closer to my goals. So you'll need that if you want to become a really productive person for a very long time, for your whole life. Now comes the second part. Now you are clear with your goals, so now you need something to just start. And everything starts with planning. And when you talk about productivity, planning starts with schedule, to-do lists and calendars. So the biggest problem with making to-do lists and calendars is that people make them for like 1 week, sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes for 2 days. Then they stop making them because they feel like everything is in my mind. Why should I write it? Or it's not useful. Even when I make a calendar, I am not able to be productive. And they also feel that like making a calendar or a to-do list feels like work itself. So the mistake that they do is always they go to YouTube to make a fancy and learn to make a fancy to-do list. But you should not be doing that. The purpose of planning is to save time, not to spend hours making a calendar or to-do list. So the first thing about making a schedule or a calendar is that you should make it really simple and less time consuming. It should never take more than 10 minutes to make a daily schedule or daily to-do list. And that 10 minutes include thinking that what my day should look like. So this is how I do it. So I make a weekly calendar. I think on Sunday night and think that okay, I need to accomplish these goals in this week. Maybe join a meeting, maybe upload 5 YouTube videos, anything like that. Then based on that weekly list, I make daily lists. In the morning, I sit for 10 to 15 minutes and I think what my day should look like. And I also keep separate time for fun activities, for exercise, and for teaching someone, for mentoring someone, for YouTube. And that is all included in my schedule. And you can use some app or some digital calendar. I am kind of traditional, so I use pen and paper. So what you should know about your calendar is that it should be very simple, it should be small, and it should be changeable. For example, some unexpected emergency comes and you have to change it a bit, so maybe deduct 1 hour, omit 1 hour and add some other activity. And then when that emergency like is solved, that problem is solved, then you should again try to follow your schedule as much as possible. Another tip that I would like to give is, because when in the morning we will think like okay, today I'll crush the day, I'll do this and do that. So if you think about 4 goals, that four I have to achieve 4 goals today, then Edit the least important one and focus on three. If you think of 4 or 5 goals, focus on three. Or if you think about 6 goals, then focus on four. Because like in most of the cases, you will never be able to complete all of them. So focus on 3 or 4 most important ones. And now the calendar thing is done. Like this is all you need to know about calendar making and schedule making. Make it very very simple, as simple as possible. Otherwise, if you think that calendar is a work itself, then you will not continue this habit. And when people think that all the my tasks and goals are in my mind, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. Writing your goals down will be much better in long term. Like you will realize, if you keep making a calendar or a schedule for like months or 2 months, 1 month or 2 months, then you will realize that only then you will realize how important it is and how useful it is. Because you do not have to think about, okay, I need to do this, I need to do this, and I do that. And the problem with forgetting the tasks will be gone. Also, what I do is, when a task is completed, I strike off that task with a pen. So it feels like I have achieved a level. It feels like a video game, because video games are so addictive. When you complete a stage or complete a task in the video game, you are very motivated to go to the next task and complete it. So similar feeling we get when we complete a task on a to-do list and we strike that off. It's like level completed. And you can also add rewards for that. Now, when we come to the next step, that is, if you are very unproductive, because I know many teenagers in today's time who do literally nothing the whole day, especially because of COVID. The classes are online, the work is online, so all they do is they get up, they use social media, they eat, they use social media, and then they use more social media and some more social media, and they sleep. So if you are very very unproductive and you do not know where to start, so start with not wasting time. Now this looks sounds silly, I know, but I will give you the definition of time waste. What do I think that is a time waste? So I realized that if something brings you closer to your goal, or gives you fun, gives you satisfaction, then that is not a time waste. For example, playing 1 hour of a video game is not a time waste. It gives you satisfaction. Or maybe spending 1 hour with your family, or going on a walk, or exercising for 1 hour is not time waste. It brings something positive to you. But like, it is funny. Okay, it's kind of funny. So I had this habit of sitting in the toilet in the morning, and after I finish my business, I had this habit of staring at bathroom tiles for 10 minutes every day. Every day I used to sit there for 10 minutes and stare at bathroom tiles. Similarly, there were many instances during the day when I was wasting the time uselessly. It was not bringing me closer to my goal. It was not fun activity. It was not giving me satisfaction. It was not good for my health. Nothing. Just pure time waste. So if you eliminate these time wastes, and I'm sure you must be also doing like some things like that. Like people just sit on the bed and stare at wall, or sometimes they just scroll on social media even when they are not enjoying this process. So even if you eliminate these time wasters, then you'll realize that you will have 1 or 2 hours extra in just one day. That is 7 hours extra in 1 week, and that's a lots of time. So even if you just start adding that time to some positive work, then you'll realize that okay, you are going somewhere. Like, it's okay, you are going somewhere. Eventually, when you are doing this, then you'll feel like, okay, I can create more time. If you do this, then you can create more time. Obviously you can create more time. Calendar will also help. So keep some time for study, keep some time for play, keep some time for work, keep some time for family relations. Now come to procrastination. So I would say that there are two biggest enemies of productivity. One is procrastination and the second is perfectionism. Procrastination, you cannot win over procrastination. Let me be like very clear. At some point of time, at some point in your life, you will procrastinate. Even the most productive and most disciplined person will procrastinate, because you have evolved in such a way. Your mind has evolved that it will take the path of least resistance. It has evolved to conserve energy. So whenever you feel some strain, whenever you feel easy, your mind will say, okay, let's just relax, dude, leave it. It Your evolution has been like that. It's your biology, so you cannot avoid that. So if you want to win over procrastination, then stop using motivation and willpower, because you can win in one or two battles against procrastination using willpower, but you will lose the war. You will lose the war. The only way to win against procrastination is routines, discipline. Your routines, daily routines, habits, that is the only way to win against procrastination. If I have to study 2 hours every morning, I have to study 2 hours every morning. That is my schedule. If I have to go for a walk for 15 minutes in the evening so that I can keep my weight and health under control, I have to go for a walk. There is no option. This is my routine, this is my habit, I have to follow it. If I have to research or read one research paper every day, if I have to make one video every day, I have to make it. There is no option. Then your routines and environment also plays a very important role in winning a war against procrastination. So if you are in a distracting environment, if you are in a very procrastinating environment, then you will obviously tend to procrastinate. For example, if you are studying with television on, or if you are studying with your mobile phone on your side, then obviously you will procrastinate. At some point of time, you will get a notification, you will pick up the phone, and you will end up an hour on social media. This will happen. So the only way to not to procrastinate is set up an environment which will help you focus. Your environment is more important than your motivation and willpower. I'm saying that again. Your environment and your routines, your discipline. I have said this in an older video that Olympic athletes are living their dream life. They are living their passion. Still, nobody likes to train every day. So they rely on discipline and routines. That is the only way and the one way to stop procrastination. Another tip that I use is, okay, so sometimes you are following the routines, you are doing everything, you are using my like, think of it, like maybe you are watching a movie or using a mobile phone. So suddenly you think that, oh, that project is not finished yet, I need to do that. Or maybe you are relaxing on your bed and you're about to sleep, and suddenly you think that it's time for my walk. You have 3 seconds, just 3 seconds, 3 golden seconds. You have to think like, okay, 1 2 3, get up, go for walk. You have to think like 1 2 3, okay, go back to on project. If you delay, if you wait for 4 or 5 seconds, your brain will give you 1,000 excuses to not to do that work. Your brain will give you 1,000 excuses to go to sleep. Okay, we can go and walk tomorrow. And your brain will justify in such a way that you'll start believing it. Okay, okay, today I'll just sleep. So you have 3 golden seconds. 1 2 3, let's go, let's go, let's go. This is what your approach should be. Then when we are starting a new routine, when we are starting a new schedule, for example, from Monday I'm planning to start like studying 2 hours every day and then going to walk in the evening and something like that. So this thing I do is I start enjoying on Friday. Then I enjoy my weekend like as much as I can. Unless there is an emergency, I do not do any work on Saturday and Sunday. So it's like a 2 day break. It's like a relaxation period to free my mind. So that on Monday, my brain is believing that, okay, you have enough relaxation, now time for work. Then for some weeks, I work like crazy. Not exactly crazy, I keep enough time for like fun activities and all, but I follow the routine as much as possible. Then again, after some weeks or maybe 1 or 2 months, I take a weekend break on which, if there is not a project pending or there is no emergency, I do not do anything for 2 or 3 days. So it is like a relaxation period for mind to basically capture your energy back. I would say it like that. Then, as I already told you, that environment plays a very important role. So if you want to go to the gym regularly, then make sure that your gym is on your way to office or school, because your mind is lazy. It will choose the path of least resistance. It will if you like have to travel to gym, then it will give you thousands of reasons to not go to the gym. If you want to continue doing your work, then leave your work open when you go for a break, because when you again enter that room, you see your work open, you see your projects open, and you have a tendency to go back to it, because your mind will find 1,000 reasons to stay distracted, and you have to give it 1,000 reasons to stay focused. That is the only way, one and only way. Then another thing is, this is from the book Eat That Frog, and this is very obvious, that people have a tendency to delay the difficult tasks. Like if they have 5 tasks to complete in a day, then they do the easier ones first and they do the difficult ones later. So if you do that, the difficult ones never get done, because all your willpower, all your motivation is exhausted in the easier tasks. So by the time you start taking difficult tasks, then you are like, you have lost all your energy, you have lost all your motivation, your willpower, and your brain will start giving you excuses not to do that work. And in most of the cases, the difficult ones are, the difficult work is always the most important one. So this, like, always give a promise to yourself that you will always do the most difficult work in the first thing in the morning. Promise to yourself. It will be inconvenient, I know. You won't like it, I know. But the easier tasks will take care of themselves. The difficult tasks are the biggest problems. And some people say that you should not do difficult tasks. Like, I have read some books which say that difficult tasks should be done later in the day. But to be honest, I tried every approach. I made my juniors and my friends try every approach, and eventually I realized that this approach is the best, that you should do the difficult task the first thing in the morning. Then we come to perfectionism. What is perfectionism? Perfectionism is like, when we talk about productivity, perfectionism is when you spend too much time planning and you do nothing. Like approaching, trying to be perfect, and you are trying to be so perfect that you never get the thing done. Or in terms of productivity, you are trying to use every second of your day in some constructive work, in some projects, or in something like that. There is no time left for fun, there is no time left for enjoyment. So perfectionism is as dangerous as procrastination. There are two biggest enemies of productivity: perfectionism and procrastination. Because, like, this time management, productivity, these things are not taught in schools. They are never taught in schools. So when young people want advice on this, they go to YouTube. And there are some good advice on YouTube, and there is some, like, very bad advice on YouTube. And in fact, some of the most famous motivation speakers are giving very unscientific and very bad advice. They will give you just quotes, some poetic lines, and they'll charge you up. And they will, like, give you that you should not sleep, and they will give you quotes on why the early bird catches the worm and things like that, like hundreds of quotes like that. And they will make you feel like that if you waste even 1 second of your day, then you're doomed. That is not the case, guys. If you try to approach perfectionism, then eventually you'll feel motivated for 1 day, for 2 days. For 2 days you will work like crazy, but on the third day you won't do anything, because you will be tired, you will feel a burnout. The key is to balance everything. I used to do this. The key is to take small steps. So people, like, they go to gym for first 3 days, they work out like crazy. Trainer keeps on saying that, okay, Nish, start slow. But they're like, no, I'll get six pack abs in 1 month. You just see. And after 1 week, you cannot find those people in the gym. I used to do this. Start very fast, then stop at all. So take small steps in the beginning. For example, if you are not doing any work right now, if you are very unproductive person right now, then start with focusing for 30 minutes. Then eventually increase your studying or working time. If you start with 6 hours a day, then after 2 days you will feel so tired and you will feel burnout, and you will just stop. Yet you will just crush the whole schedule and throw it in the dustbin. That will surely happen. So the thing is that you should stop trying to approach perfectionism. No one can be perfect. You can never use that 24 hours of your day. 8 hours should be for sleeping, then sometimes should be for fun, then sometimes should be for learning, then sometimes should be for your relationships, your family, things like that. If you try to do work in every minute, it's not possible, guys. And if you even do, and if you are like, you have lots of willpower, you have strong willpower, and even if you start doing it, then there will be mental health problems, that is for sure. So productivity is not as simple as it sounds. So if I conclude everything, then try to do the difficult task first, make a schedule, make it easy, and you stop chasing perfectionism. And whenever you feel some strain, like your brain is saying, no, don't do this, just relax, think that you are in the positive direction, you have to do it. And do not exceed limits. There is always a limit to working also. So make sure that you have a relaxation period. At the end, I would like to jump on a bit on mindset, because that is very important for productivity. If I go on mindset, that all the decisions you make, all the thoughts that come to your mind, your personality, you only control 5% of that. Around 95%, some say 7% is controlled by you, but like figure is something like that. So around 95% of your thoughts and decisions are controlled by subconscious mind, and you cannot willingly change the wiring or the processing or the way it works of your subconscious mind. You can only change that by very gradually, by practices and by exposing it to positive thoughts. So if you want to change the wiring of your subconscious brain so that it naturally becomes a productive, like the working of it becomes a very productive, you become a productive person naturally, then you have to expose your subconscious mind to productive thoughts, science behind productivity. So start reading books on productivity. Maybe you will feel that the books like are repeating things in some way or the other, because almost all the productivity books, like good books, contain about 70 to 80% of the content in those books is almost the same. Only the difference is the writing style and things like that. So that is how we learn, consuming some content, same content in different ways through different stories. So when you will consume the such positive content every day through reading, like 15 to 20 minutes of reading, then the wiring of your, the working of your subconscious brain will automatically change, and you will feel that the decisions you make will be like towards a positive lifestyle. You will be thinking like a positive person, you will be making decisions like a positive person. So make sure that you start reading habit and you start consuming positive and good and informative literature, some personal development books you start reading on everyday basis. So this was, I hope that this video will help you. If you think that this helped you and this can help others, please share this to this video and please subscribe to my channel. And if you think that this video was too long and your friends will are procrastinators and they will not watch this whole video, then I will be sharing all these tips in very short 1 minute videos one by one. So make sure you share those with them. So thank you. This is Rohan Chauhan. Please subscribe.